Hello. Hi, I'm Andrew Lindy, and I'm currently serving on the board of directors as the secretary for ASAP. Tonight, we are celebrating some young game designers, and this is the second time we have done this program. And for any of you who tuned in last year, you might have remembered we had a little visual issue with the sun coming down, and so this year we found a room that doesn't have any windows. So I think, we won't run into the same problem as last year. But anyways, thanks for joining tonight. It's really exciting. We've got a lot of awesome content to share with you, and two very cool games that came out of our program this year. For those of you who don't know what the Celebration of Young Game Designers is, what we do is we call for submissions from students from 3rd grade to 12th grade to submit their game design ideas to us. Then we go for a blind judging process where we remove the students' names from the submissions, and we have a panel of game developers, mainly from New York City, review all of our submissions, and we select 2 to actually create a game, a playable game that we release today online, which you'll be able to check out when the program is over. So that's what the Celebration of Young Game Designers is, and a little bit more about ASAP. We've been around for 23 years, founded in 1999. And today we serve over 10,000 students throughout Connecticut every year. We're really excited to share this event with you, and we really appreciate you tuning in. And also, if you're watching this right now and you weren't one of the students who submitted, we'd really encourage you, to check this out. And if it's something you're interested in, or your friends might be interested in, we'd love to see a submission from you next time around. So this year's theme, which was voted on by our audience at last year's event, is nature. So the students were asked to submit themes surrounding the theme of nature. And just like last year, what we're going to do tonight is, if you check out the chat here on YouTube, we have Zakia operating the chat and providing some links for you guys. And she will also be posting a link to a poll where you can select our theme for next year. And towards the end of the program today, we are going to reveal what you guys voted for. So please, check out the chat and vote on your choice for next year's theme. We have a lot to cover tonight, so I'm just going to jump right into our first segment. And I would just like to talk about our awesome committee. And so, we've got a lot of really talented game developers that are on our committee, and I would just like to recognize them quickly right now, because without them, this program just wouldn't be able to go forward. So we've got Henry Dotson, who was also a judge this year, in addition to being a committee member. Myself, we have Andrew McNamara, and he was a judge and a committee member, and he also was instrumental in developing some of the educational curriculum that we are using to inform our students on how to design a game. We have Alexia Mohabir, who is a committee member, judge, and team leader, which we will, we'll see a segment from Alexia a little bit later. I'd also like to thank Ali and Zakia from ASAP. They're the 2 staff members who've just really been with this program since last year into this year, every step of the way. Big thanks to you 2 for all your hard work in putting this together. And also, I'd like to thank Yi Zhang, who is also a committee member, judge, and team leader. So, without further ado, we have a pre-recorded video from both Alexia and EE that would love to share with you now, where they talk a little bit about their experience with CYGD this year.
Hello, My name is Alexia, and I was one of the team leaders for this year's celebration of young game designers. So, what does it mean to be team leader? Well, first, I had to assemble a team of game developers for the Game Jam. Since Game Jam teams are usually small, the goal is to gather people with a range of useful skills that fit what's needed for the individual project. My team included 2 programmers, Dakota and Geneva, who worked together to code the game, taking the students' concept and turning it into a working and playable video game. Next on our team was our artist, Tyler, who created all the character art, backgrounds, environments, and animations for the game, all based on the students' original concept art and descriptions. Then we had our composer, Jeff, who created all the music and sound effects for the game, working to make the gameplay clearer, feel more alive, and more in line with the tone the student described for their game. Once my team was assembled, my role as team leader was to bridge the gap between all the different roles, assigning tasks and keeping my team on track. When we ran into problems, such as game bugs, I worked with my team to figure out our best options to work through them so that we didn't fall behind and could finish our Game Jam game on time. See, in real life, games take a lot of time and energy to make. Big companies usually spend years working on a single game, while in a Game Jam, you only have a few days, and usually much less people working on it. It can be really challenging and chaotic, but also really fun. My favorite part of the Game Jam weekend is seeing it all the different parts, from coding to the art to the music, all come together into an actual game you can play. It's really something special to get to work alongside other talented game designers to create something real that works. Seeing the concept come to life really feels magical. And for this Game Jam in particular, getting to work to bring a student's idea to life was even more special. I'm so proud of what we were all able to accomplish together, and I hope you enjoy it too.
Hi, I'm EE, and I was so excited to be a part of ASAP's Celebration of Young Game Designers event this year. I was one of the team leads of the Game Jam teams, and I am very excited to present what our team put together. I worked with a team of 5 other professionals in the games industry to bring a student's vision for a game to life. We had Rachel, who served as our producer, a programmer, and also did a fair amount of audio editing. Erica, who did our environment art as well as visual design. Laura, who did 2D character art as well as animation and UI elements. Henry and Michael, who did game design and programming. And then myself, I worked largely on production, some project management, and did a little bit of assisting with both audio and animation here and there. I also communicated regularly with the selected student and communicated their needs and wants and vision to the team. The best parts of the Game Jam were probably those check-ins that we had periodically when the team came together and we were able to see what we had all been working on individually come together. Because we were a distributed team, not everyone knew what everyone else was doing at any given time, so it was really cool during those moments when we could see all the pieces clicking together. Seeing all those elements come in together to create a fully formed game was really, really cool. Another great moment was just presenting the game itself to our top selected student. They were, I think, very excited, and even though it wasn't maybe exactly what they wanted, they said it was beyond. I feel like the development of a game over a Game Jam weekend is kind of like the development of a video game, but at super speed. Everyone was laser focused, worked super fast, and created a tremendous amount of content in a very short amount of time, and it was very impressive to be a part of.
Great. Thanks, Alexia and EE, for all of your hard work and your team's hard work. You know, one thing you guys watching at home might have noticed is, you know, there's quite a few different roles on these Game Jam teams. A lot of different disciplines that go into game development, and you know, part of this program is introducing the students to really all the different types of disciplines that it takes to make a game. And you know, one thing that we realize is, you know, I don't want to call it a shortcoming of this program, but you know, to be able to put together a game like these teams have done in such a short amount of time, you know, this is not typical of a usual game design and development experience. It takes a long time to make a game. Many times I'd say 3 to 5 years would be probably a pretty safe average. And so, one thing we want everybody to know at home is that the only way that we're able to complete such awesome work in such a short amount of time is really the talent and the experience of the teams that we're bringing to develop these games. Without their vast knowledge and experience, it just wouldn't be possible. And we don't want anybody to have any, misconceptions about how hard and how difficult developing a game is. When we do a kind of game jam format like we do for this program, we just, as E.E. mentioned, condense everything down into a very, drilled down sort of process. So, that's just one thing that, as a committee, we've kind of discussed and gone back and forth on. And we just wanted to kind of share that fact with you all at home. So next, what we'd like to show you is a little highlight of the content that we received and had the very difficult job of selecting 2 projects from all of the awesome submissions. But I know if you're watching this, you might have a little bit of a hard time imagining what the students have created and submitted to us. So we'd like to show you a little bit of that work right now. Awesome. So now we've shared with you a little bit of some of the great art and ideas that we received this year. And I want to thank everybody who submitted. I know it's a lot of work to put together these submission materials. And so even if you were not selected this year, I just want to thank you. And I want to encourage you to stay in touch with us and apply again next year. I also want to remind everyone that right about now is pretty much your last chance to vote on next year's theme. So if you haven't done so already, please check the link in the chat. I think Zakia could probably post it again if she hasn't already, and get your votes in. And we're going to announce the winner for next year here very soon. But without further ado, this is the big reveal. I would like to announce our 2 top selected students for this year. And I'd like to give a big congratulations to Tyler Gear and Henry Klager-Schwartz. We have 2 different games that we created for both of these students. And we're gonna show you more right now.
I'm Zakia. I'm from ASAP, and you submitted to our celebration of young game designers. I wanted to follow up with you and let you know that Acorn Quest was selected for our top selected for this year's game design. Your game will be made this weekend. A team of artists and programmers are gonna check in with you, and they're gonna make your game. They loved your idea.
Oh my God. Thank you. Can you believe it?
No.
Are you excited?
Yes.
Your game has been selected for this year's CYGD event. Second year in a row. Allie's here from last year because she was so excited that you were selected again.
Hi, Tyler!
Hello.
I was so excited when I saw your name. And they have no idea who you are. When the judges judge it, your name's not on there. All they know is everything you filled in and your grade, and that's how they judge it. What does this mean for your future, Tyler? What does this mean? Are you gonna be like making games like next year professionally? Like, what is going on?
No,
I'm not sure. I mean, it's my dream to own a video game company.
Wow.
So cool.
Hi, Henry. It's nice to meet you. I really liked your game concept, so very excited to be working on it. My name is Ii, and I work in the games industry. I specifically work for a studio called Heart Machine. I largely do community management, some associate production work, and PR and marketing. It's very exciting to be part of the games industry and introduce you to this world.
Well, I don't even know if I have to introduce you to Alexia. This is Tyler, our second annual game designer.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's me again.
What a coincidence. That is so funny. I'm one of the judges, so I have to look through all submissions. They don't show us the names at all, so we could be fair in going through it. And yours immediately stood out to me, and I was hoping that other people agreed and would win and that I'd get to make the game. So how funny, I picked yours again. That's so cool. How does it feel to get picked a second time?
Feels pretty great.
So the premise of the game is that the birds have stolen the treasure, which is the acorn trove that the squirrels had collected.
It would zoom in on the tree and then it would show a peaceful squirrel village, and maybe there would be a sign saying Acornville, and then like motto would be collecting acorns since 1976 or something. And
Wait,
then,
say that again. The slogan
maybe-
under Acornville,
yeah,
collecting
like collecting
acorns.
acorns since 1976 or something.
1976.
Something like
Is
that.
there a
And then-
significance to 1976?
No, I just random date.
Okay, so Acornville
Oh,
is
it's
a
also
peaceful...
my mom's birthday.
Aw. That's
Anyways, and then it's gonna say something like, but then the crows came and they stole the squirrel's secret stash of acorn. So many birds filled the sky, it became black. There would be one young squirrel that was not afraid, and his name was, it would be Sammy, and it would say something like, Sammy the squirrel must embark on a quest to steal what the acorns. And then it would show like a guide like saying what the berries, pine cones, and leaves do. And then it would show you the tree with all the nook levels.
Perfect. Okay, I love that. So our producer Rachel has set up what is called a Miro board, and it's basically sort of a visualization flowchart concept for your game. So far what we've got is like little screenshots of the drawings that you've done, types of enemies, there's environmental features. So we're going to flesh out all of this to sort of give a framework for the team to develop the game. This is one way that like professional game teams get their ideas sorted before they even write a line of code or do even like a scrap of art.
I noticed that in terms of the 4 different spirits, you have the snake, the toucan, the panther, but you don't describe the 4th one. I know that that's the one you technically are playing as, but I was curious if that's like, do you have a design in mind, or do you have like an idea of what they look like, or you wouldn't see them at all?
Well, I kind of imagined the 4th nature spirit, the player, of course,
Mm-hmm.
to be kind of like what it was in my drawing, but there's one thing I kind of wanted to add, but I couldn't really add it because I didn't have enough space. I think it would be cool if they had like deer antlers.
Okay.
This was kind of just a little drawing of what the forest might kind of be like with all the nature and animals and stuff like that.
Flame Frenzy is this like boss. You didn't describe a lot about them, so I was kind of curious. You have like more ideas about them or who they are, how they look?
I imagined him kind of like the final boss of the game, and so he would have a flamethrower. I kind of thought the way you would kind of beat him would be that you would shoot your vines in another direction, and when he goes to turn to face those vines, that's when he's not, you know, showing it towards you, and that's when you could strike him. And maybe following the rules of all Mario/Nintendo games, you would have to do that 3 times.
Got it.
We are so excited to share what we have so far with you. So this is called a sprite sheet. A sprite sheet is just sort of like a frame-by-frame animation of all the movements of the squirrel. Sammy went through a lot of different iterations. And we settled on this sort of reddish-orange color just to give it some good contrast.
Oh my, that's one cute squirrel.
Yeah, just a couple different backgrounds. So we have two different states for the background. There is the one where you first enter, it's very dark because it's sort of like the boss room, like the door is closed, you gotta be in there and move around and collect all the acorns. And then once you've collected enough acorns, then the light will come in and it will be an indicator that you can leave the level. Right now the birds don't exist, they're just cubes. But the sort of the motion of the birds is this, and then you're going around, you change color when you get hit by a bird or when you pick up a power-up, and you're dodging and collecting acorns.
Do you want to say how awesome it is that you got to see some of this stuff?
I don't know. You draw something on paper and it just comes to life in front of your eyes.
Yeah, I'm so happy we were able to help with this. And you're a really, really good game designer. That's, I mean, part of why your game was chosen was because it was a very tight and achievable game. So that's very rare to find.
And then you have on this end, this is from our artist. So he was referencing your art. Here is art of one of the lumberjacks wearing the classic lumberjack attire.
I imagine that would be very hard to walk in such a body.
Yeah, you're big and strong, holding a big axe.
Hey Henry, we got a build up in like the last 2 minutes, so it's ready. But it was a close thing.
I like the sign.
Yeah, Erica did an amazing job. Okay. I feel like the spawning positions for the birds and obstacles is favorable right now. Sometimes the speed power-up actually makes it harder because you have less control. I just need to exit.
So Henry, tell us again about the dedication.
It was dedicated to all the kids who survived the COVID years.
Aww.
From the moment that I just submitted it to like now, it's just like, I don't know if someone told me that I would be playing it a couple weeks later, I would believe them, I guess.
So now, if you want to try using the spirits to help you, if you hit A, you can put out the toucan. If you put S, you can put out the snake. And if you put D, you can put out the panther.
This is so great. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's the boss. He's here. What do you think?
Wow.
If you start making your own games even on your own, because that's where you're at, like an age where you could like learn that if you wanted to. Like you can learn some earlier, easier programming languages, or like to try and like code it if the coding is more your thing, or if you just want to do more of like the art and the story, that's totally fair too. Games have so many elements to it, so you really could just get it, focus in on what it is you want to do. But yeah, you definitely have a lot of skill, and I could tell a lot of passion for it and interest, and that's really what you need to make games. That's really what makes it happen. Because if you don't like doing it and you're not going to make a fun game. Like or it'll show. Like some games that are just kind of, they were made maybe to make a lot of money, but they weren't made by like people who really loved making them, so I'm glad that you've continued to keep working on it and you're enjoying making them and really coming up with concepts.
I really am.
So you get to be on the credits for 2 games. Your name is there and part of it.
Yeah. But Alexia, can you do me a favor?
Yeah. What do you need?
Thank everybody on your team.
Yes, absolutely. I will let them know.
great. That's so cool. That that segment is one of my favorites, definitely from this program, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Just getting to see that interaction between our awesome team leaders and our selected students. You can kind of see there's a lot of discovery happening there, really from both sides. We just have a really fun time interacting with these students, and we really look forward to seeing ideas in coming years here. So, like I've mentioned before, even if you weren't selected this year, we'd love to see your ideas next year. Don't get discouraged, and keep coming with all that creativity. So while we were watching that segment, we have been our counting elves have been tallying the scores from all of your votes, and I think Jared, who is our awesome video tech today, Jared Hudson, I'd like to thank you for helping out with the stream today. Can we get the theme, our winning theme for next year, on the screen, please? And there it is. Awesome. All right. Okay, so everybody, thank you so much for voting. This is what we want you all to be focusing on for next year as you're coming up with your ideas. And, before we sign off here, I just want to do a few more thank yous. Once again, I want to thank our committee members, judges, our Game Jam weekend developers. Without you guys, none of this would happen. You just do a lot of great work. The ASAP staff, not just Ali and Zakia, but everyone else over there, and in supporting all of these awesome initiatives. And I'd also really like to thank our event hosts for this year, which include Juncture Media, Theater Works, and Arbor Services of Connecticut. Thank you so much for your support in helping us to realize these games for our students. I also want to mention a couple other things that we have going on at ASAP for all of you out there. We have the celebration of young writers. The submissions are now open. And this is from grades K all the way through 12. So the submission deadline is April 8th, and I think Zakia is going to put that link in chat. She also, if you've been checking the chat, we also have links directly to the games that were created this year. So if you want to play the games that you saw today that were designed by our students, please check the chat link. And we have a link directly to both games, and you can just play it in your browser. And, we'd love you guys to check out these games, get inspired to make your own game designs. Please share it with your friends. And we would love for you guys to check those out. So thanks again, everybody, for tuning in today. This was a really exciting event. We're looking forward to planning for next year. We're always trying to grow our scope and be able to include more students. So please pay attention and make sure you're on our mailing list on ASAP's website so you can stay in touch for details next year. That's all for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Once again, I'm Andrew Lindy from ASAP. Have a great rest of your Sunday.